I think it's important that we all have a positive attitude, because after all, the only thing you really can control is the way you perceive life. And in this video, I wanted to talk about somebody that I've watched their podcast regularly, not all the time, and I don't agree with everything they state. But John Deloney, I love watching his podcast. He's part of the Dave Ramsey crew, and I watch his show actually more regularly than I watch Dave Ramsey. But John Deloney recently had a video that I could relate to. As you probably know, I have cerebral palsy, and obviously it's a mobility disability. And one of his callers called in because his younger brother was facing I think it was a car accident, and then he was paralyzed after the car accident. He was 30 years old. I'm 30, and so brother John Deloney went into some of the issues people with mobility disabilities face, and some of the ridicule that they might face throughout their life, and how it's a challenge to go from having no sort of mobility to disability to being paralyzed, not being able to use the bathroom on your own, not being able to walk. That'd be big, and the frustrations that are involved with that. So obviously cerebral palsy with my case pretty much affects slightly above my knees to my feet, and fortunately for me, using a bathroom has never been an issue. But I can understand just not being able to walk, or being able to walk fine and then going to a mobility disability, not being able to walk at all, how that would be a very big challenge to overcome. So I'm going to go through my phone, and I wrote down what he said. One of the words that stuck out with me, which Brother John mentioned in his show. He said one of the hardest things people with mobility challenges face is everybody treats you differently, like you're somehow gentle and broken. So do I think everybody treats you differently? So if I'm sitting down in like a desk position, and somebody walks in to my office and I never walk, I don't think people treat me differently at all. But if I do walk, I feel like instantly people do kind of change their perception on me. I've had this multiple times in meeting women. They've talked to me, and I've been sitting down, and I start walking, and that's always a little bit uncomfortable for me, because I don't just bring up I have cerebral palsy, but this would probably be in school or something. Like I moved schools once, and yeah, maybe they wouldn't know, or at work, because sometimes there have been people, I shouldn't say women, but people in general, sometimes it's like we're having a normal conversation, they're laughing, but then they see me walk and they're like, oh. And that's a little bit, it's very uncomfortable for me, because I can see the way that they viewed me before has changed, because they've seen the way I walk, and there's nothing I can do to change their perception, but I can be the best that I can be. That's all I can do. You can't change really the way people think, but it's really hard to anyways. I try to, but not always successful at it. So I don't know if they treat you gentle or broken, but I do notice it's harder to, like, I think you can become a big inspiration to others, but like it's harder to be, particularly if mobility is involved, it's harder to be in like positions of power when you have mobility disabilities, and that's been a challenge for me. But fortunately, with cerebral palsy, you live with it your entire life, and you just kind of get used to the way it is. And for the person who was in the automobile accident and became paralyzed, it's, you know, a whole new ball game that you're gonna have to get used to, because going from playing sports, being athletic, to not being able to do anything, not even be able to use a bathroom, that's a big change. And psychologically, you really have to change your mindset in order to be happy and live a productive life. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to say I didn't completely disagree with Brother John Deloney. I don't know if I think that people always treat you gentle or broken, but they do treat you differently. I'll give them that. So obviously Brother John Deloney at this point doesn't have any sort of disability, but generally as you get older, you know, things as far as mobility don't come as easy. But there's some 80, 90-year-olds that do really well, and it is a challenge though, having mobility disabilities. I'm not gonna lie. So anyways, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.